At the end of this video, you should be able to confidently answer this question. Every entity that we use in Dialogflow has to be explicitly defined by us. Is this true or false? Consider a conversation that a user might have in the chat window with our chatbot at the other end. The user is interested in planning his trip and he asks our bot to book a room for me, please. What he wants is a room, but the bot requires some additional information before it can go ahead and actually book the room. The first of these pieces of information is, what city do you plan to visit? Which is the city you want your room in? Our customer obviously knows where he's going to visit. So he'll say, I'm going to be visiting Bangalore, or just respond with Bangalore. There are a number of responses, but each of these responses will contain the city that he plans to visit. But Dialogflow is still not done. Our bot requires additional information to make this room booking. And one additional piece of information is the date for which he wants this booking. The request for this additional information is expressed in the form of a follow-up question. Now, you could say that the information actually needed is the date that the person's planning to check in and the date that he's planning to check out. I've kind of reduced the complexity here and consider that a person requires a booking just for a single day. Our customer does a quick calculation in his head and says, my flight lands on Friday. I need a booking for this Friday. But the follow up questions are not done. Our bot requires yet more information. What is the room that you're interested in? What is the room type that you seek? This is the last of the bot's questions. The customer might respond with, I'm interested in a double room. Please book that for me. And then the bot is done gathering the information that it needs in order to actually go ahead with the booking. At this point, the intent can call the server code running at the back end to fulfill the customer's request. So far, that was not possible. In this conversation flow, imagine the city, the date, and the type of room that the customer wants as slots which have to be filled in by our bot before a request is made to the backend code, which updates the database and actually performs the room booking. Notice that each of these slots have a particular type. City is some location somewhere in the world. Date is of type date. Room preference will be of certain room types that we have available: queen, double, king, suite, and so on. These slots, which have to be filled in, are also referred to as parameters in Dialogflow. The purpose of this entire conversation that the user had with the bot was to extract values for each of these parameters so that our bot could proceed with the room booking. Parameter values here are Bangalore for the city to visit, this Friday for the date on which the user wants the booking, and a double room for his room preference. Getting these parameter values are important because all of these are required information in order to actually book a room. And this is where entities come in. Entities are what are used to extract parameter values from user queries. In our conversation, we had three slots which needed to be filled: city, date, and room. Each of these are associated with entities, and these entities are used to extract values for these parameters. It's important to note that every customizable bit of information that we need in order to fulfill a particular intent has to have a corresponding entity. So there is an entity for city, date, and room. Now, the cool thing about Dialogflow is that the type of data that is expected need not all be defined by you. So, city and date are actually system entities which are built into Dialogflow. These system entities or built-in entities are already available to you. You don't have to explicitly define them in order to use them. You don't have to specify all the cities that you will accept. You don't have to specify all the possible values of dates, and there can be many, many such values. You'll see shortly in the example that we provide. The only entity that you as a developer have to define are entities which are specific to your query. And in this particular query, it is the room preference or the room type. Now you know what rooms are available within your hotel. You have to specify the values that this entity takes on. These are developer defined entities. In this course, we'll be seeing examples of system entities as well as developer defined entities. There are also user entities. These are those that can be defined at a session level. Let's say you happen to be within an app that is a streaming music service, such as Spotify or Pandora or any other. You have a playlist that you're listening to, and it happens to be your favorite playlist. Let's say that this service also offers a chat window powered by a bot where you can specify the next bit of music that you want to listen to from your playlist. Then, a session level entity would be all the songs within your playlist. These user entities, which are at a session level, are very contextual. We won't be covering those in this course. At this point, you know enough about entities to be able to answer this question. We don't need to explicitly define every entity that we use within Dialogflow. There are also system entities or built in entities that Dialogflow offers us. Common slots which need to be filled in a query, such as date, city, country, etc., are all built in entities.